was my father's dying wish that I should assist Elinor and Marianne.
Surely he did not stipulate a particular sum, my sweet.
No, he did not. He left that to my judgment.
Well then, perhaps we can come to a more practical understanding.
It is rather unpleasant to have yearly drains to one's income.
We should encourage their independence, should we not?
My dearest Fanny, how utterly generous you are.
Is it not enough that we have lost the one person we most cherished in all the world? Now we must give up Norland. It seems unusually cruel.
From father to son, he is the rightful inheritor.
Why? Because he is a man, or because he is deserving? I find it neither.
It is the law.
It is an unjust law. Besides, John is only provided for by his mother's fortune, and that is inheritance.
Yes, but I'm sure John will do what is fair and honorable.
I'm sure he will not.
Marianne, he is family.
Family can be such a burden.
To be tied down to the regular payment of such a sum is by no means desirable.
Perhaps it would be better for all parties if the fee we agreed upon was diminished to £500.
You have such a generous spirit, my sweet. What brother on earth would do half so much for his half-blood sister?
They can hardly expect more.
Perhaps we should send them presents of fish and game.
Yes, fish and game. I hadn't thought of that.
We do them a favor by releasing them from the burden of wealth and property.
Do you mean to say that I cannot take the goose feather bed? And it is my goose feather bed!
Yes, but...
And the tea service!
Marianne,
It was mother's.
Norland is John and Fanny's now.
Darling, this is simply too much.
We still have each other. She cannot take that away.
Yes, but how will we endure each other when we have no income?
We will manage.
I hope for your sake you are right. I am sure that I will be even more disagreeable when I am poor.
It's not a miracle we need, but an act of human kindness.
Agreed, dear sister.
No, that's wrong. Mustn't say delightful. Sad occasion. Good afternoon, Miss Dashwood. I am so sorry for your loss. Your dead father will be wrong. Your dear father will be greatly missed by all who knew him. Well, that's not bad. Good afternoon, Miss Dashwood. I am sorry for your loss. Your dear father will be missed by all who knew him. I find myself stirred by fond memories of him, as well as our agreeable walks together in the gardens of New Orleans. I like where this is going. Where we would spend hours discussing Rousseau and Voltaire.
Mr. Ferris.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming.
Miss Dashwood, I am so sorry for the loss of your dead dear father.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Funny story. When my father passed, I was only 12, so not so much a funny story as tragic, really.
Mr. Ferris.
Forgive me. Words seem to vanish without a trace whenever I'm,
Whenever you're what, Mr. Ferris?
Hungry. Oh dear. How can I receive my ordination if I cannot even comfort a friend?
Oh, you are of great comfort to me, Mr. Ferris, and you will be of comfort to others.
You are the only person who believes so.
Well, then it is quite fortunate that I am right.
When I heard the news, I was devastated.
Marianne is overcome.
And you, Miss Dashwood?
Oh, I am counsellor to my sister. I have not the opportunity for such indulgence.
Indulgence is not always an adversary.
Spoken like a man who will one day inspire others.
Not if my sister Fanny or my mother have anything to say about it.
I do not always feel they have your best interests at heart.
Edward! There you are. You see, dear, I told you he was in the study. We have pleasant news. Mother has arranged for us to dine tomorrow night with the Honourable Miss Morton, the only daughter of the late Lord Morton.
I don't know who the Mortons are. I doubt they lack nobility. And Miss Morton, I'm sure, must have fine gentility. But that is not my sensibility. Often hungry, always a wonder. Sees all my failings, knows how I wonder. And all my love goes unexpressed. I'm so impressed, or am I conscious, or merely flustered, waiting for how can I explain away my secrets and their complications? We upset you, we know. I may go completely mad if I can't tell you how I feel. Oh, Elinor, I am a prisoner of my hesitation.
Well, Edward,
Excuse me?
will you dine with us tomorrow night with the Honourable Miss Morton, the only daughter of the late Lord Morton?
Of course. I do not wish to offend the late Lord Morton, nor any of his descendants.
Good. Good. Come, Edward.
She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellow to that tender light, to heaven which gaudy day denies. Shelley, Byron, I hear he is having an affair with Lady Caroline, but is now being forced marry her cousin. Why do poets lead such scandalous lives?
To sell books. Marianne, you missed lunch again.
Did I? Sorry.
You cannot keep dining with the servants.
I refuse to eat at the same table as her.
If we must leave Norland, we should do it with propriety and decorum.
I have no patience for propriety and no use for decorum.
It is because you have not learned to govern your feelings.
At least I have feelings to govern.
For which you show no moderation.
The advantages of moderation have been highly overestimated.
We must begin making preparations.
Why? This cannot be what Papa intended.
Apparently our maintenance for 6 months was all Papa required of our dear brother.
I know John has a heart. It's just that no one can find it.
It's not helpful.
In truth, you will be sorrier to leave Norland than I.
Me? Why should I be sorrier?
Mr. Ferris?
Mr. Ferris, I do not take your meaning.
You're attached to him.
I find his observations to be just and correct.
That's it.
He has always been most kind to me and to those around him.
Does he enslave your passion?
I always find him thoughtful.
Does he leave your heart breathless?
He has very good manners.
Do you long to be with him?
He has fine taste in music, and I rather esteem him.
You esteem him?
Esteem is perfectly respectable.
Esteem is what you have your grandfather. Express what you are feeling. Do you suffer? Do you want him more than you've ever thought you could want before? Do you shake your soul to the very core? Can you feel it? Can you see it rise? Does it take your breath? Does it burn your eyes? Like a deadly sin, like October skies? Love's a wonder.
Love is nothing we know.
Will carry you away.
Just so the poets say,
Come what may,
live the moment.
seize the day.
Ah! Hello.
Oh, Mr. Ferris.
Miss Dashwood. Miss Dashwood.
We were not expecting you.
Yes, Fanny insisted upon my return. It seems there are some important documents in need of my review.
Are you a lawyer, Mr. Ferris?
Heavens, no. I was entered at Oxford and have been properly idle ever since.
Ah,
And how was your trip to London?
It was not particularly agreeable.
found a bit of trouble, did you, Edward?
I'm afraid the only trouble with me, Miss Dashwood, is that I'll never get into Parliament.
Disgracing the family name. Mother can't be proud.
Indeed, I am a huge disappointment to her. It seems I have not the wish to converse with the great men of the day. Fortunately, my younger brother Robert shows far more promise.
You should have a profession, Mr. Ferris. You are such a busy man for one so idle.
I always preferred the church, but I was not smart enough for my family. They recommended the army, and that was a great deal too smart for me.
I think you will look rather dashing with a red coat on your back. Wouldn't you agree, dear sister?
I believe Mr. Ferris can decide for himself what sort of coat he wears. Perhaps he does not care to have a profession.
Well,
But how is your fame to be established? How will you become distinguished?
I hope I never shall be, thank heaven. I cannot be forced into genius and eloquence.
You have no ambition, then?
I wish to be happy. Is that not ambition enough?
I believe one's own happiness is the greatest reward one can hope for in this world.
Yes, I would agree, Miss Dashwood. And it is always the most pleasing form of pleasure when one finds it among friends.
Now we're getting somewhere.
There is nothing I would not do for those who are truly my friends.
I have little doubt of it, Miss Dashwood, for you are indeed
I am indeed
the dearest.
the dearest.
This could be a while.
I swear that the words are right on the tip of my tongue.
Take your time.
Yes. Time, yes, time. No, if you'll excuse me, I mustn't be late.
Late for what, Mr. Ferris?
I've no idea. Ladies.
Mr. Ferris.
to him already. It is certainly soon to be so.
Engaged? You can't be serious.
Why shouldn't you be engaged to him?
You are forgetting I am neither a woman of rank nor a fortune.
Well, he seems rather unconcerned with either distinction.
Yes, but his mother and sister will not be.
Elinor, he loves you. Isn't it obvious?
Anyone would be fortunate to share his affection, but further than friendship, you must not believe.
In a shimmer, the friendship's gone, while a love affair can go on and on. An exhausting state you can depend upon. In a period this real life is gone, what do you think is that? You may not say the light. Shall this thread do not be so willing? Love is learned before it's read. As the poet said, as the poet said, no man is equal to the man inside my head. A Cooper and Scott, Shakespeare and Keats. I want to feel my way.
Still cannot say
And writing the phrase and love just why want I feel that way.
Marianne!
What is it?
It's a letter from our cousin, Lord Middleton.
Lord Middleton? I barely remember him.
He offers us a small cottage in Barton Park.
In Devonshire?
Yes, isn't that what you wanted?
It's such a distance. Well, how small?
The rent is uncommonly moderate.
Ah, so quite small.
We have no right of objection.
There is always a right of objection. But at least we will be free from the evil witch.
Marianne, how can you say such things?
Words formulate in my head, and then I say them out loud.
Don't be a child.
Devonshire? That's quite a distance.
Yes, but you may come and visit us as often as you wish, Mr. Ferris.
Yes, of course, but Devonshire, I must protest.
Protest all you like, but unless you have a more suitable proposal, we are soon to be your distant neighbours.
Barton Park? I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
We are very glad to hear it.
We are so delighted for you both.
Thank you, Fanny.
It will be such a relief for you to have a house of your own, will it not?
We had a house of our own, if you may recall.
And Devonshire is so close.
It's rather a distance, my love, don't you think?
How splendid for everyone.
You will see me in a fortnight once you are settled.
And you will be most welcome, Mr. Ferris. Yes, well, you cannot expect too many visits from your friends at so great a distance.
But if my friends find no difficulty in travelling a distance to see me, I'm sure I will find none in accommodating them.
Nor will I.
Then it is settled. We will remain friends, no matter the distance.
Until when next we meet,
Miss Ashford.
I favor our accord,
Yes, as will I.
or exhilarating walks,
Through the gardens of Northern,
cherished and adored.
I myself as well.
If you can know when I see the eldest son veiled in mystery,
I don't really like mystery.
we make our own history.
Actually, there's something quite important that
You will find your voice.
Yes, I'm glad you think so, because, which brings me to my next subject.
Conscientious
Yes,
words,
words. Speaking of words,
illuminating small.
I would like to shed some light on a particular situation.
For you can learn how not to be the kind of man you are thought to be.
But who's the man I ought to be?
When
happy day.
It was most generous of you, cousin. We can never thank you enough.
No need. The arrival of new company is always of great pleasure to me, Miss Dashwood. Oh yes, let me introduce Mrs. Jennings, my late wife's mother.
How do you do? Well, 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 such pretty girls. You will be a most welcome addition to the park.
Thank you, Mrs. Jennings. We do hope so.
I trust you have not left your hearts behind in Sussex.
No, just some furniture.
Every pretty girl should have a husband. I will make it my personal mission to find suitable matches for you both, if there's still time.
Do not trouble yourself, Mrs. Jennings. We are in no particular hurry to form attachments.
No hurry? My dear, by the look of you, it would seem to me you have very little reason to display such patience.
Perhaps they should join us for dinner tonight.
Oh, an impeccable idea. Oh, yes, you must.
We will not take no for an answer.
And I believe Colonel Brandon is free, is he not?
I believe he is.
Who is Colonel Brandon? Silent and brave, with an appearance not unpleasing, cruel and aloof, with a past.
What kind of past?
His countenance is sensible, his experience vast, even for a man on the wrong side of 5 and 30.
Ah, Miss Dashwoods are a delight, are they not?
You are too old for her, I'm afraid.
Too old for whom?
Marianne Dashwood, though she is quite beautiful.
Yes, quite.
And uncommonly smart, with an appearance not unpleasing. Pity your youths passed you by.
I'm not really that old.
The lovely Miss Dashwoods are a gift to the eye, even if your best days are sadly behind you.
Not the continual terror of my decay, Mrs. Jennings. I'm feeling especially robust tonight.
Oh, yes, and anyone can see why.
How are you enjoying the evening, Colonel?
I'm enjoying it very much, Miss Dashwood, especially with the addition of new company.
You're a long-time resident of Barton Park, then?
Yes, very long.
I am indeed. I have an estate in Delaware.
Oh, good. Then we must become frequent visitors.
And what an estate it is! It will give him great comfort in his declining years.
Again, not old.
Yes, it would certainly be rude of you to die before we had the chance to get to know you a little.
Well, according to Mrs. Jennings, I have outlived every sensation and feeling.
According to Mrs. Jennings, we are all very much past our prime.
Speak for yourself. I'm very much enjoying mine.
That's well you should, Miss Dashwood. Youth is inevitably fleeting. One should enjoy its pleasures whilst one can.
All this talk of age is making me depressed. Are there no other young people in Barton Park?
I'm afraid not many.
Well, Colonel, it was lovely to make your acquaintance, even though you are likely to perish before the night is over.
I must apologize for my sister, Colonel. She can be abrupt at times.
No apology necessary. In fact, I once knew a young woman who, in temper and mind, greatly resembled your sister.
Oh?
But unfortunate circumstances befell her in a most unkind manner. Please, forgive me.
Oh, no forgiveness needed. Marianne is perfectly capable of stirring up the strongest feelings in even the most tempered of dispositions.
Yes, that well describes the young lady I was thinking of.
Then I shall leave you to your thoughts. Colonel Brandon.
Miss Dashwood. My sweet Lydia, my dear departed, cherished friend, it seems I knew you once, but so briefly now, it almost feels like centuries. But Lydia, you're with me each and every day. I hear your hallowed voice, the promises we made at your last breath. It's a little bit remarkable, an accidental miracle that we were once together in this troubled world. But miracles are fleeting, life is random circumstance, and something everlasting never had a chance. No, Lydia, we were cursed right from the start. between my father's greed, my brother's wrath, my misbegotten place in life. Why, Lydia, are some men good and some men cruel? For who would harm a soul as kind as yours, bearing no remorse? An unintended consequence, an accidental casualty of antiquated customs we quite outgrown. Families disregarded, cast out and thrown away by senseless, inconsistent laws we still obey. But I try to keep some grace. I try to see your face, but time has blurred the lights. Oh, Lydia, there's someone who reminds me of you.
Do you not enjoy hearing men speak about flannel waistcoats?
Oh, who was speaking about flannel waistcoats?
I overheard Colonel Brandon speaking to Mrs. Jennings.
Must all manner of events be disagreeable to you?
And we have been here for nearly a fortnight, and still Mr. Ferris does not come. He must be very ill.
Or very occupied? Have patience, dear sister.
How can you stay so calm, so composed?
I'm sorry. What is it you would rather I feel?
Despair, outrage, fury.
I better leave the fury to you. I'm going for a walk. Now? It's about to come pouring down.
All the better.
Marianne,
What?
don't make me come after you.
It's just a bit of rain. There are clouds on the summit.
No need to be concerned. You'll catch your death of a cold. Drops of rain can wake me and renew my sense of wonder. Marianne!
We know how this ends.
It's just a bit of rain. No need to be afraid. Rain wash me clean, leave my soul unforeseen. Lose me one dance. Show me who I am. Shower me with wisdom, or with thunder, or with mercy. And I'm here in the middle of a lonely field, and I open my eyes wide, and I look to the heavens, and I ask, will I be cleansed of all my pride in the downpour? It's just a bit of rain to heal this grievous wound. Papa, I'm lost, but I can't bear the cost, for I just see red. It's harder to go on. Roland is without you, we're without you, I'm without you. It's just a bit of rain, or a torrential storm. She always finds her way, or she doesn't. Marianne, don't scare me. We are in this world together. It's just weather. Oh dear, is she hurt?
I believe it is her ankle.
Oh, what happened?
She's taken a fall and down. That couldn't take her a bumper.
My darling, are you all right?
Yes, I believe so.
She should stay off that foot for a few days, I should think.
Well, we thank you greatly for what you have done, sir. Won't you please sit down?
I mustn't. And do let me apologize for the intrusion.
Intrusion? You practically
I'm just relieved she's not more seriously injured.
At least let me make you some tea.
Thank you. No. But if you'll be so kind and allow me the honor of calling tomorrow to inquire after the young lady, I'd be very grateful.
Yes, of course. But who have we to thank for this kind deed?
The name is Willoughby. I'll be staying at Elinor Court.
Willoughby. Then you are nearby. Good news indeed. Well, we thank you, Mr. Willoughby, and we are most eager to see you again tomorrow.
As am I. Good day to you, ladies.
Why are men always so much more interesting when they depart so suddenly? No more speaking. I will scold you later.
It's just a bliss of day
His travelling coat was most becoming.
that brings a ray of light.
What did I say about speaking?
Isn't she a wonder? Isn't she extraordinary?
Willoughby, here! Splendid! We must ask him to dine with us.
So you know him then?
To be sure, he is down here every year.
What sort of man is he?
As good a fellow as ever, and dare I say, there's not a bolder rider in all of England.
But what of his pursuits, his talents, his genius?
Upon my soul, I have no idea.
But who is he? Has he a house in Elinor then?
No, but his aunt does. A house he is one day to inherit. Until then, he is under her governance.
So he has no property of his own?
No, but he is much well liked. Last Christmas, he danced from age till 4 without once sitting down.
Oh, that is what a young man ought to be. Whatever be his pursuits, his eagerness in them should know no moderation and show no signs of fatigue.
I see how it will be. You'll be setting your cap at him now and think nothing of poor Brandon.
I deplore the phrase setting one's cap at a man. It is gross and illiberal. Why should I think of Colonel Brandon when there's Willoughby?
You know nothing about him.
Willoughby.
Don't get ahead of yourself, Marianne. The weather has been most unpleasant, Mr. Willoughby. It must be difficult to ride the dance this time of year.
I would happily ride 100 miles through winter's chill to ensure that Miss Dashwood enjoy a perfect recovery.
I see. Well, and how is your aunt? I hear she suffers from poor health, but I hope she's not too confined by her ailments.
She's as tough as a bull, I'm afraid. That is, she does not appear in danger of succumbing to her infirmity anytime soon. But one is fortunate to have good relations. Would you not agree, Miss Dashwood?
I know very little of the subject. Might I ask, Mr. Willoughby, do you have any interest in music?
A great deal, Miss Dashwood. I'm quite passionate about music.
I'm very glad to hear it. And do you dance?
I believe I'm considered quite a seasoned dancer.
Most appealing. And do you have any interest in poetry?
Very much so. I'm quite fond of Cooper and Scott.
Oh, the star of love, all stars above, now reigns o'er earth and sky. And high and
low the influence
know,
know, but where is County Guy?
County who? You recite with such sensitivity and spirit. Do you often say whatever you like?
Without attention to persons or circumstances, do you display caution?
Not a whit. I've no use for propriety.
I do not even think she knows the definition.
I find it rather a bore myself.
I abhor all concealment. There's no disgrace in being unreserved.
I find all restraint of sentiment to be an unnecessary effort.
Ah, I see common ground has been found. Perhaps we should change the subject before our behaviors become illustrations of our opinions.
I apologize for my sister, Mr. Willoughby. She means to rescue me from my excesses.
Let's hope she does not succeed.
Sitting here, can hear you.
Well, I'm afraid I must return, my aunt. Thank you for allowing me the honor of this visit. May I call again tomorrow? To ensure the ankle is healing properly.
You may, Willoughby, and every day after that.
I should look forward to the pleasure. Ladies.
Well, he displays a want of caution, does he not?
Willoughby, how will your acquaintance support the extraordinary dispatch of every subject? Willoughby, we will soon have exhausted each topic and have nothing more to discuss. Willoughby, our tastes are strikingly alike. We are united in our friendliness and our ease. Willoughby, his perfect breeding and affections are with all at once delightful and enchanting. Willoughby, I find him utterly exciting, sensitive, respectable, and smart. He's exactly, precisely, formed to engage my heart. Willoughby, Willoughby.
Willoughby is so bold!
Willoughby, I haven't known him very long, and yet I'm absolutely sure I know him well. Willoughby, we read the same poetic passages, we hear the same rhapsodic intonations. Willoughby, a man accessible and clever, his disposition fits me like a glove. He's exactly, precisely formed to return my love. Willoughby, Willoughby. His society is my best enjoyment. We read, we talk, we sing, and everything he does is so assured. Dancing cards, I have the warmest regards for Mr. Willoughby. Mr. Willoughby. Mr. Willoughby, the great amusements of the night, like the spark and like the light really
I feel
are.
that's all I've always known.
Willoughby, we have the old familiar feeling of the long-established intimate acquaintance. Willoughby, inside a comfortable connection, there lies a multi-part control. You're exactly, precisely, fashioned to make me whole. Willoughby,
My friends, welcome to Lavender. It seems your sister is getting along quite well with Mr. Willoughby.
Yes, they've been quite inseparable these last few weeks.
There is something so amiable about the prejudices of a young mind that one is sorry to see them give way to the practicality of age.
I find Haydn's music far too
But
formulaic.
he is considered the father of the string quartet.
I'm sorry, is it dinner? You're late. Am I? We went for a walk, and then Willoughby insisted that we recite Ode on a Grecian Elm.
I didn't insist, you insisted.
I do not care for Keats so early in the day.
Well, this is fascinating, but we are guests at Colonel Brandon's home, and I believe there are others in the room.
Oh, let them be, Miss Dashwood. It's been so long since we've had a modicum of excitement at the park, and one does sometimes need actual events to substantiate the rumors that one spreads.
I am told, Mrs. Jennings. Would you care to honor us with your very best?
Her very best or her very latest?
One hopes they will come to the same thing.
Let us not
forget, Mr. Willoughby, that the better part of valor is discretion.
In the much better part, I have saved my life. Falstaff, Henry the Fourth, Act 5, Scene 4.
Isn't he splendid?
Well, I don't know about Falstaff, but I do know about a lock of hair. Give us the details.
What do you mean, a lock of hair?
I mean a lock of your hair to Mr. Willoughby. We have no secrets, Miss Dashwood.
Now you tell me.
But I'm really more intrigued by E.F.
Marianne, what did you tell Mrs. Jennings?
There is a young man who is Elinor's particular favorite, whose initials, I'm told, are E.F.
And when is this E.F. coming to visit Miss Dashwood?
He will never visit because E.F. does not exist. Isn't that true, Marianne? What is true? Who can say? Who can know?
Is everything all right, Colonel?
I must apologize. It seems I'm being called away.
No bad news, I hope.
Not at all, sir. It's merely a letter of business.
But why is it so discomposed you if it is merely a letter of business?
Mrs. Jennings, perhaps we should trust the Colonel to know his own countenance.
Come, let's hear the truth of it. Is it from her?
It is business, which requires my immediate attendance in town.
You can go to town tomorrow, Colonel. Please stay.
I wish it could be settled so easily, Miss Dashwood, but I cannot delay my journey for even an hour.
Well, if you would let us know what your business is, we might see whether it could be put off or not.
You must excuse me. My deepest apologies.
I say, there are some people who cannot bear a party of pleasure. Shall we have some more sherry?
What do we think it is, Mrs. Jennings?
It is about Eliza, I am sure.
Who is Eliza?
You have not heard of her, I suppose. She is a relation of the Colonel's, my dear. A very near relation. We shall not say how near for fear of shocking you. But it is his natural daughter.
Indeed.
Oh, yes. Oh, and as like him as she can stare. I dare say the Colonel will leave her all his fortune.
Such a scandal. Well, we do not yet know the circumstances of Colonel Brandon's situation.
Poor Brandon. He has everybody's good word, but nobody's noticed.
Oh, so true. Do not be so hard on poor Brandon. He is a good man.
Yes, he's the kind of man that everyone speaks well of, but nobody remembers to speak to.
He has neither genius nor taste.
His voice lacks expression.
Or spirit. Marianne! Colonel Brandon deserves your admiration and your praise. Can you not see that your conduct to him is uncanny? No, I'm sorry, but it's very difficult to concentrate on my behavior towards Colonel Brandon when Mr. Willoughby is standing so near. In a shimmer, like a flash of light, conventions break out of sheer delight. Will I wander free? Yes, I think I might. We unite in the sunlight, with the autumn sun to depend upon, and the orchestra rolling on. There is nothing we know of will carry me away. Just take your time and come one day. Seize the moment, seize the day.
Isn't it a delectable treat with the girls in Barton Park? Don't they have an attractive appeal?
Lost their bride.
One smart, delicate, and delightful, they are nearly next of kin. And they live in a house with a view finely settled in. They're as pretty as a picture.
I see marriages and children.
As pretty as a picture and so charming.
But it better happen quickly.
They're not getting any younger. It's nice to have them here. They're glad to have a care that is across to them.
Oh, Mr. Willoughby, this is a surprise.
Good day, Miss Dashwood.
Will you be staying with us long?
No, in fact, I must take my leave of you.
Oh, I won't hear of it. Tea? Where is Marianne?
She's in a room.
Oh, is she ill?
I dare say, I hope not.
She thinks nothing of walking in the rain for hours and then complains of all of its symptoms.
In truth, it is I who suffers most.
Mr. Willoughby?
I'm being called away to London.
London? When?
At this very moment, my aunt has dispatched me on business.
You're going to London now?
So it would seem.
This is most unfortunate. Surely she will not detain you long, I hope.
You're very kind, but I have no idea of when I might return. It is all at my aunt's discretion. I seem to live my life entirely as she wishes it.
But surely she is being unreasonable.
Reason has little to do with it.
Well, certainly, Mr. Willoughby, ours is not the only home in Devonshire in which you are welcome.
It is folly to linger in this manner. I will not torment myself any longer by remaining among friends whose society it is impossible for me now to enjoy. If you'll excuse me.
Marianne! Leave me alone! My darling, I am so sorry. He will return to you. Do you not think so? I am besieged with despair. But this is just temporary. So suddenly to be gone. It seems but the work of a moment.
Yes, a very bad moment.
But yesterday he was with us and so happy, so cheerful. Now he's gone forever. Or he's gone for several weeks, nothing more than an adjournment. My life is over. And while his absence is unfair, it's just an inconvenience. My world has crumbled and shattered. I die.
Nothing seems to do her any good.
She hasn't eaten for a week. She doesn't dress. I barely see
Give her time, she will recover.
Day and night I hear her cry. She doesn't sleep. She doesn't listen. And I can't reach her, teach her what she demands. And not even wine or words or lavender drops can heal the pain she is feeling. It's unfair. What she has lost cannot be replaced, but we still have the love of each other.
There she is! Marianne, do have some dried cherries. They are utterly delectable.
Thank you, no.
Just one. It will do you a world of good.
I hardly think that you would know it would do me a world of good, Mrs. Jennings.
Marianne, that time is not called for.
I'm sorry, you're right, dear sister. Forgive me, Mrs. Jennings. It is with great reluctance that I decline your offer of dried fruit. I look forward to future opportunities to indulge in other great culinary endeavors.
I see. Well, perhaps I will come back when you are feeling better.
There was no need for that. Sorry, I'm not exactly at my best. There's no need to be at your worst. But she's always so meddlesome. If it were not for her, and for Lord Middleton, God knows where we would be. I suppose you're right. But I just simply do not have the strength to be pleasant. That is why you must eat. I cannot. When Willoughby writes to you, you will need to have the strength to reply. But he has not written. But he will. He's just been unable to. Elinor, do you think he has forgotten me? Dear sister, more likely he would have forgotten his own name before he would forget you.
Hello?
It's him. He's here.
Hello, ma'am.
Mr. Ferrars. Edward, I must say you are the one person I would forgive for not being Willoughby.
Willoughby?
Dear Mr. Ferrars, how good it is to see you. Won't you come in? Did you come from London?
No, I came from Norland, actually.
Oh, Norland, what sensation must befall you, walking through the woods of Norland, thickly covered in the signs of the season, delighting in nature's spirit?
Yes, Esther, not everyone shares your passion for dead leaves.
And some share no passion for anything. You'll excuse me, Mr. Ferris.
Well, Miss Dashwood.
Mr. Ferris.
I suppose you're wondering why I'm not replied.
I am curious, yes.
Well, there's just so much I want to tell you.
Is there indeed?
There's just so much I want to say. I want to shout it, extol it, I cannot control it, but it's pushing you away.
Oh, nothing is pushing me away, sir.
And when you're there in all your beauty,
Me?
I cannot say a word. I'm in agony, ecstasy, damn the complexity. Just let me die on my sword. Oh, I don't have a sword. Perhaps I could borrow a sword from an old library. But in any case, Elinor, why can't I say to you how I love?
Yes.
How it's true. How I love your painted parasol.
Yes, thank you. It's a gift from Mother.
It's no use in repeating what I've rehearsed before. There's a piece of the story I haven't yet told you. You might find alarming, and you may see my person as slightly less charming.
Mr. Ferris?
Oh, hello. I am bound to tell you hello. I suppose you may find this strange and odd that I'm a fraud. So I want you to know.
Yes.
Hello. I know it seems confusing,
Yes, it does.
but you can rest assured.
Can I?
It's more than confusing, it's simply depressing, it's slightly unnerving. I can no longer fathom whose purpose I'm serving.
Mr. Ferris, if you could just clarify.
Hello, I don't want to speak of you so.
Thank God.
I only want you to know that I feel so goodbye. And though I can't tell you why, I just wish I would die slow until you know that
That you.
hello? Oh.
Lord Middleton, I simply adore Barton Park, and you are such a gracious host.
Why, thank you, my dear.
Certainly.
What do you think of Miss Steele? She is beautiful, is she not?
Indeed.
And she's very fashionable to my taste.
Yes, quite.
And such an easiness of air about her.
Yes, but that does not, however, give her elegance.
No, but it does give her a distinction of person. And though she has no education, she's smart enough to get what she wants.
And what is that?
She's such a sly little creature, there's no finding out.
Miss Dashwood, how are you enjoying Devonshire? I suppose you are sorry to leave Sussex. I enjoy Devonshire very much. Norland is beautiful, I hear. Lord Middleton speaks of it frequently and admires it excessively. to a very suitable and handsome young gentleman.
From whom would you hear such a thing?
It would be a fine thing to have a married so young.
Mrs. I honestly don't know what you're speaking of.
I hope you can have as good luck yourself, although perhaps you have a friend in the corner already.
Friend in the corner?
Miss Dashwood, can I be frank with you? I know our acquaintance has been very short indeed.
Yes, a little under a minute, I would think.
But I feel as though I can confide in you.
My, your trust is quickly earned.
Would you object if I asked you a rather forward and personal question?
Yes, very much.
Are you at all acquainted with your sister-in-law's mother, Mrs. Ferrars?
Mrs. Ferrars? Good heavens, no, I've never had the pleasure.
Perhaps you could tell me what sort of a woman she is?
To be candid, Miss Steele, I know nothing of her. I hope you don't think me impertinent, Miss Dashwood. To be candid, Miss Steele, I really don't know what to think. I never understood you were at all connected with the family.
The time may come that I may be intimately connected.
Good heavens, are you referring to Mr. Robert Ferrars?
No, I never met Mr. Robert Ferrars. It is his eldest brother, Edward, whom I am acquainted with.
Edward?
I have a great secret that I must share with you, Miss Dashwood. Not a soul of all my relations knows it.
I really must protest,
Oh,
Miss Steele.
Dashwood. Edward has the highest opinion in the world of you. He speaks of you as a sister. I'm quite sure I can trust you with the truth.
I'm not sure you can, Miss Steele.
I know Edward would want me to tell you, Miss Dashwood. Edward and I have been secretly engaged for 3 years.
Suddenly the sounds around me disappear. Suddenly the room grows easy.
Oh, Miss Dashwood, how difficult it's been.
It seems that all the time comes screeching to a halt, and yet I must retain my hold.
Everything is such suspense.
But somewhere in silence my
justice is required, and the porters and the pawners and the gossip and the slander, how easily we pander with the lies of being Regency.
I really have Miss London where there is no common decency.
Parties with painters drink too much port, all of their wives on a long holiday. Season after season we enjoy the simple pleasures,
Talking to a woman who enjoys the shopping at
but this is for the girls and we will not indulge our leisures. We'll always have time for that. Isn't it lovely in Portman Square?
Dear Mr. Willoughby, I am writing to inform you I'm in London. Have you noticed? I have been here for a fortnight, doing lots of busy nothings. Once I see your face, I know it was not all that love was. You had your arms around me. Elinor, it's Willoughby. He's come back to me.
Ah, Colonel Brandon. Oh, this is a surprise.
Ladies, it is indeed a pleasure.
Yes, and it is a pleasure to see you again, too.
Miss Dashwood, I trust you are enjoying your time in London.
Yes, indeed. The weather has been quite lovely. No, excuse me, please.
Seems your sister is out of spirits today.
I'm sorry, Colonel. She has been unwell.
I am sorry for that, for I wished to congratulate her.
Congratulate her? For what, may I ask?
Her engagement to Mr. Willoughby.
I beg your pardon.
It is very generally known.
It cannot be generally known, for her own sister does not know of it.
Excuse me, Miss Dashwood. I'm afraid my inquiry is being impertinent, but I had not supposed any secrecy intended, as their marriage is universally spoken of.
Oh, I scarcely know what to say.
Tell me their attachment is resolved, and I shall hide my own feelings and wish them well.
Well, Colonel, I have not been informed precisely on the terms on which they stand with one another, but of their mutual affection, I have no doubt. So it is indeed perhaps true.
Yes, that's what I thought. Well then, I wish her all imaginable happiness. I wish her only joy and celebration, and may the path thereon be tranquil. We shall be forever thankful.
That is most generous of you, Colonel.
I see a girl from afar. I see a light and a red shooting star. But my sweet Marianne, all you see is a man on the wrong side of 5 and 30. How long it's been since a day I felt awake and alive in this way. But my sweet Marianne, all you see is a man on the wrong side of 5 and 30. Why should you look at me? What can I offer? How can I dare take your hand? For there comes a roar, comes a grace out of the blue, such a rare change of pace. Oh, my sweet Marianne, now it seems I'm a man on the wrong side of 5 and 30. Dashwood.
Oh, Harold. Thank you for the book that you brought last week. It was very thoughtful of you.
I know how fond you are of Keats.
I am indeed.
Personally, when it comes to poetry, I'm lost. I couldn't rhyme my own name. Of course, I suppose it's difficult to rhyme one's own name.
Yes, I would think so.
Unless one's name were John, I suppose that would be an easier name to rhyme. Am I still speaking?
Yes, I believe so.
How unfortunate.
I trust your business in London has been taken care of. I hope it did not put your season off.
No, my season is quite well, thank you. And yours? Season?
Oh. Well.
Good.
Well. Then I imagine I will see you tomorrow.
Yes. It seems I have nowhere else to go. I might as well be deceased. Old and grey or decrepit, at least. But my sweet Marianne, all you see is a man on the wrong side of 35. Why should you look at me? What can I offer? How could I dare take your hand? For I wish you well, wish you grace. You find joy in the future you face. And for now, Marianne, I'm a downhearted man. Don't know how it began, with a slow loss of pride. For it seems I reside on the wrong side of 5 and 30.
No letters arrived since we went out.
No, Miss Marianne.
Are you quite sure of it?
Yes, Miss Marianne.
How very odd. You were expecting a letter then? A reply. So you've written to him? A little, nothing much. You see, well, I'm sure he will come round any day. That is what you said last week. Well, what did your letter say? Very little. Marianne, I admit to being somewhat at a loss regarding your situation with Mr. Willoughby. Well, I am at a loss regarding your situation with Mr. Ferris. I have no situation. Nor do I. You have no confidence in me. Oh, a reproach from you. You who have confidence in no one. Me? Indeed, Marianne, I have nothing to tell. Nor do I. Our situations then are alike. We neither of us have anything to tell. You, because you do not communicate, and I, because I conceal nothing. There you two are. Mrs. Palmer is arriving in Berkeley Street and has requested our company on Saturday night. There will be dancing and music and men. I don't like to see you sulking about. It's time for some high spirits around here. I'm sure I don't know what you mean. At the Mortons last night, I've never seen you so unwilling to dance. I was tired. Ah. And if a certain person had been there, who shall remain nameless, I dare say you would have been on your feet till midnight. And to think that he was invited. Invited? Oh, yes, indeed. And it was not very pretty of him to stay away when we were all expecting him. Invited. He was invited. Did he not get my letters? Is that in the drive he's arriving? No, he's not. I always think he's arriving. I forgot him. Why are we here? Mrs. Jennings insisted. I used to enjoy parties when I was younger. Now I just find them tedious.
When you were younger, 3 days ago.
Do you think it would be rude if I went back inside and announced to all the guests that this is a perfectly horrid affair? Oh, perhaps I should just drink a few glasses of port and that might make the evening seem less dull. Heavens, what are you looking at? Tim! He's here! Strange. Why does he not look at me? Composed. Try not to betray your feelings. Perhaps he has not observed us yet. Willoughby!
Ladies,
Good evening, Mr. Willoughby.
how are you, Miss Dashwood? I trust you've been enjoying your stay in town. I hope it is not too warm for you at this time of season.
No, it has been quite pleasant, hasn't it, Marianne? God, Willoughby, what is the meaning of this? Have you not received my letters? Will you not shake hands with me?
Miss Dashwood, I trust you've been enjoying Portman Square. I have heard Mrs. Jennings is a most generous host.
Willoughby, what in the devil are you doing? What's the matter with you? What is this about?
Yes, I had the pleasure of receiving the information of your arrival in town, which was so good as to send to me.
Willoughby, I don't accept this odd behavior, and you're acting like you barely even know me. Willoughby, this is beyond repudiation, beyond what any gentleman would do. It's pointless. It's senseless.
Excuse me.
Worse is done by you. Willoughby! This is not the time or the place. I shall not have a moment's peace until this can be explained.
He has used a young lady of my acquaintance abominably ill. I wish him the devil with all my heart.
You will marry Miss Grey, and that will be done.
Miss Grey.
She is stylish, but she is not handsome.
Aye, but when there is a lot of money on one side and next to none on the other, men can offer such things.
Let us never speak his name again.
Whose name, Mrs. Jennings?
Precisely.
Though I dare say there is not a bolder rider in all.
My dear madam, I am sorry, but it seems that your pride is offended. It was not the response I intended. My dear madam, I am sorry, but I have been well long committed. Suspicions have all been acquitted. I am sorry, and so I've returned with some despair all of your letters, and I enclose the lock of your hair that you entrusted to me. I thank you for that. Your most obedient, humble servant, Willoughby.
There he stood with a glaze in his eyes, a dreadful surprise I did not expect. There he waits like a boy with a sling, with a snap of a
as well, I thought I might find you alone.
No doubt you've heard the news of Mr. Willoughby.
I have indeed, and my sole reason for being here is to give comfort. No, I must not say comfort, but lasting conviction to your sister's mind.
I do not think that is possible.
Well, what I have to say may prove otherwise. Do you recall the day last October when I left Elephant so suddenly?
When you received a mysterious letter.
But wait, I must go further back to a conversation we had the evening we first met, when I alluded to a young lady I had once known that in some measure resembled your sister. They both had the same warmth of heart, the same eagerness of spirit.
And who was the young lady?
The one great love of my life, my Lydia.
What a lovely name.
We had grown up together and loved each other since the time I can remember. But my father persuaded my elder brother to marry her. Lydia's fortune was large and my family's estate much encumbered.
From father to son, I shall never cease to be surprised at how easily men favor fortune over love. Was your brother at least attached to her?
No, he had no regard for her at all. She experienced great unhappiness, divorce, and ruin followed. I was still overseas with my regiment when she was then seduced by the first man to show her any kindness. And by the time I could return home, I found my Lydia dying of consumption. Her 2-year-old child by her side, Eliza.
God have mercy.
Of course, I promised Lydia I would look after little Eliza. I placed her in the care of a respectable family, and then in the finest of schools. I had every reason to be pleased with her situation. But last February, on her 17th birthday, she suddenly disappeared, and for 8 months, she was unaccounted for.
Oh dear, what happened?
What I had most feared. A man with a tainted reputation seduced her youth and innocence, left her with child, promising to return to her, but never did.
Dear Colonel, but what has any of this got to do with Marianne?
Have you not guessed? Do you not see? The seducer was Willoughby, who then abandoned Eliza and took up relations with your sister.
This is beyond anything I have ever heard of.
This is beyond anything we could have imagined.
There's no excuse for that sort of behavior, and there's no place for it here at Barton Park.
If I ever meet him, I will give him such a dressing he's not had for many a day.
Was I wrong to tell you? Indeed not. I feared the news might make you feel worse.
I could not feel worse.
You were not then engaged to him?
No, not in so many words, but we were bound to each other, wholly and completely.
But surely his actions and his words have proved
How
otherwise.
easy it is for those who have no sorrow of their own to advise others. Happy Elinor. You cannot know of what it is I suffer. No, it's that I have... Yes, you have something to say. There's so much I could say. Always silent. A secret, no
and Fanny now that they have arrived in town?
No, they have not called on us as of yet.
We were so disappointed not to see you at the mortuary.
Yes, Marianne has been plagued with nervous headaches, so we thought it best not to attend.
I'm sorry she is not well. Of course, Edward was not there either, though he arrived in town with your brother and Mrs. Dashwood.
Edward is in London.
Yes, but he stays away because of the extreme affection he has for myself, which he could not conceal if we were together. At present, we can do nothing but write to each other. But, dear Miss Dashwood, I have now met the person that all my happiness depends on, the woman that is to be my mother, Mrs. Ferrars.
Oh, Mrs. Ferrars, I did not know she was to be there. And how did you find her?
Exceedingly affable. The very moment I was introduced, she took a fancy to me.
Undoubtedly, if she had known of your engagement to her son, nothing could be more flattering, but as that is not the case.
I guessed you would say so. But there is no reason in the world why Mrs. Ferrars should seem to like me if she did not. I am sure it will all end well, and there will be no difficulties at all. Oh, dear Miss Dashwood, heaven knows what I should have done without your friendship.
Mr. Ferrars.
Oh, hello, Miss Dashwood. What a pleasure to find you here. Among friends.
Hello, Mr. Ferrars.
Miss Steele.
What a surprise.
No, please, the surprise is all mine. Ladies, what a nice bit of pleasure. Didn't know that you would be here. Together, ladies, have what I say. Does anybody else feel like it's hard in here? Well then, isn't it surprising? Get us together. Conversing ladies, I'm in about a flustered ladies. Is anybody thirsty?
No, Edward, how very nice to see you, Edward. Even though it's slightly stranger, more than glad you're here now.
Could I disappear now?
Edward,
Ladies,
would you give me safety? Did you know that you were hungry?
anybody
Edward,
Yes,
what a
well.
nice Edward, yes, Edward, what a joy to finally see you, Edward. We better lift our spirits.
How ideal we're all together. How's the weather? I cannot explain my presence in as much as I would like to do.
Please try, Mr. Ferrars.
Words fail me, reason has all but disappeared, and I wish I could too. Lady,
Edward,
going,
you
I don't know where the
must
time went. God help me, lady.
Edward, so sad.
Ladies,
Isn't he delightful?
it has
What a
been
charming
tried
trick on
on
It is bad enough that I would be obliged to submit not only to the exceedingly great inconvenience of sending a carriage for the Miss Dashwoods, but worse, that I would be subjected to all the unpleasantness of appearing to treat them with attention.
But, my dear, I am their brother. It would be in bad form for you not to invite them to stay with us for at least a few days. Surely Mrs. Jennings will understand.
My love, I would ask them with all my heart if it were in my power, but I had just settled within myself to ask Miss Steele to spend a few days with us. She is very well behaved, and I think the attention is due her. We can ask your sisters to come some other year, you know, and my mother, to be sure, is quite fond of Lucy.
This is what I hoped for and dreamed of. Oh, Pinch, there can be no doubt of it now. No more hiding, no more retreat and deny. This is an advantage we cherish greatly, planning and designing
My brother, Edward.
Yes.
Edward Ferrars.
Yes.
Mrs. Dashwood broke the punch bowl as she threw the candelabra, though it missed her by the shimmer. Its effect was advantageous, for Miss Steele had yet to know how far a sister's love could go when you're not the one she's choosing.
The Honourable Miss Morton, the only daughter of the late Lord Morton, was the desirable connection on both sides.
And what did Edward have to say about it?
And no one knows, or at least no one has said. But I dare think if Miss Ferrars will cut him off without a penny if he marries Miss Steele.
Miss Morton and her £30,000 would have been the logical choice for Mr. Barton.
You have known this for 4 months.
She told me last November in conference at Barton Park.
4 months? Good God! Well, consoling me in all of my misery, this has been on your heart. And I have approached you for being happy.
I could not tell you. My promise to Lucy obliged me to be secret.
4 months, so calm, so cheerful.
I would not have you suffer on my account.
But Edward is acting horribly. He is like a second Willoughby.
He is not. I acquit Edward of essential misconduct. I hope he does marry her. I know that he will. He will do what is right. I wish him all imaginable happiness. You cannot. I wish him only joy and celebration. And if I harbor some regret, I'm still so thankful that we met. Now he will marry her, and they will settle down. He will believe that she's all he's needed, and I don't know how well she'll serve him, but I pray that she'll deserve him, and I'll stow away all my feelings, stow away all that's underneath, beneath this hollow ground. I fall, but I don't make a sound.
I never knew Edward so unfeeling and stubborn before. Fanny is in hysterics.
I don't understand.
Mrs. Ferrars offered Edward the Buckingham estate if he would marry Miss Morton, but he refused.
Edward refused.
He said that nothing should impose on him to give up his engagement. He would stand to it, cost him what it might.
Our Edward?
Robert is now to inherit the entire estate and fortune.
I scarcely know what to say.
I will leave you with the happy news that the doctor said that there was no material danger in Fanny's indisposition. You need not worry about her. The doctor insists she will recover.
And I toast their union as this is meant to be. I wish them all degree of great prosperity. I will not raise my voice in disappointment, and though I can't help feel dejected, there is no ill will detected, and I'll stow away, any lasting glimmer, hope or promise
interrupting.
Mr. Ferrers, we were not expecting you.
Miss Dashwood?
Edward, you seem always to be popping in.
Ah, do I?
Yes, it used to be so delightful, and now it's just awkward. Excuse me, please.
I go to Oxford tomorrow. I would have been extremely sorry to leave London without seeing you and your sister.
How kind of you to call. We ourselves return to Barton in a fortnight.
Yes, I heard. That is why I'm here. I thought it best that that is, I must tell you something.
We have all heard about the dreadful misfortune. The situation with your family, and I dare say, the callousness of their actions is reprehensible.
Yes. Thank heaven for Colonel Brandon.
Colonel Brandon?
He has offered me a living.
Oh.
Yes, a small parish in Delta. It will be a modest income, but it will suffice. I believe your friendship with the Colonel must have inspired his generosity.
It is a testimony of his concern for the cruel situation in which your family has placed you. A concern that we all share.
I must say, I was stunned.
Well, you see, Mr. Ferrers, it's all working out just as it should.
I'm not yet sure that is true, Miss Dashwood, but I am still hopeful.
The unkindness of your own relations has made you astonished to find friendship anywhere.
No. Not to find it in you. For I cannot be ignorant that to you, to your goodness, I owe everything.
Mr. Ferrers.
Until when next we meet, our favor, our call, our precious little tots, we've cherished and adored, and I would walk the frozen moss 1,000 miles to most distant shores, if once I'm there, the face I see is yours. There is a deeper want and joy. There is a higher state of grace, a hidden invisible place. Now as the water overflows, as we embrace a kinder air, beauty is almost hard to bear. A gentle wind whispers a prayer. Home, quiet and tranquil. Home, we have returned to you, worn, humbled, and thankful. Promise me, Elinor, we will never leave Barton again. Never. Come, let's go inside. There's something more of a wildness to the hills than before. Yes, the clouds are darkening. Come, let's discuss it, Lydia. Would you deny me my greatest pleasure of walking in the downs of Marianne in fighting a fever and a broken heart? Small cold, nothing more. Marianne, be sensible. Is music sensible? Is nature sensible? It's just a bit of rain. No need to be afraid. Rain, wash me clean, leave my soul unforeseen. Lose me on the downs, show me who I am. Shower me with wisdom.
your sister's health, but now we must allow for the possibility of infection.
That is the word I most feared.
I'm afraid I'm losing hope of her recovery.
Surely there is more that you can do.
This unlucky illness makes every symptom severe.
Is there not a cure for her condition?
Prayer, Miss Dashwood. I'm afraid it's the only remedy I can offer.
That is hardly sufficient.
Be that as it may, it is our remedy.
Is Papa coming? Yes. Oh, yes, dear. He must not come by way of London. If he comes by way of London, I may never see him. I'm sure he will find another way to come to you. Who's there? Is it Willoughby? No, it's Colonel Brandon. Willoughby! I'm sorry, Colonel Brandon. She is quite delirious.
I must do something for her.
Very little can be done.
Give me a task. I shall perish if I remain idle.
Well, perhaps you can fetch Lord Middleton and Mrs. Jennings. They have been 3 months her companion, and now, as the danger is more grave than we imagined.
I will calculate with exactness the time it will take to return them to Barton Cottage.
Thank you, Colonel. Darling, please. If you do not return to me, I swear I will never forgive you. Open up your eyes and tell me how remote I seem. How my words do not convey the depths of my esteem. Badger me, pester me, Marianne. There are things I should have told you, I have told you not. Oh, what was I hiding from you? I have long forgot. All those fears they seem so useless now. I would not last, not even a day. Don't test my resolve. I will stay here till your breath synchronized with mine, while my hand is holding yours. Marianne, I'm not leaving you, Marianne. I'm still waiting here, Marianne. All I want is one more whisper, one more willful word. Just one sound, be the sweetest sound I ever heard. And I won't let you go. No, I won't let you go.
Miss Dashwood! Miss Dashwood! I entreat you to hear me for 5 minutes, Miss Dashwood.
Oh, sir!
I have business with you.
Then pray, be quick, sir.
Your sister is ill, I hear.
I don't see that as your concern,
For
Mr.
God's
Willoughby.
sake, is she in danger or is she not?
I beg you to leave!
Tell me, Miss Dashwood, do you think me a knave or a fool?
Mr. Willoughby, you must be in liquor. I am not at leisure to remain with you longer.
Yes, a pint of porter was enough to have set me.
So it seems, but that does not explain why you are
In
here.
the hopes that you might hate me 1 degree less than you hate me now.
And why would my opinion be of any use to you?
I need to offer some kind of explanation, some kind of apology for the past.
Yes, but why did you call, Mr. Willoughby? A note would have sufficed.
It was necessary to my own pride.
How sad for you.
My business is to declare myself a scoundrel, and whether I do it with a bow or bluster is of little importance.
Then say whatever it is you need to say and be done with it.
I'm in love with your sister.
Well, you have an odd way of showing it, Mr. Willoughby.
Yes. I'm afraid my love of Marianne was insufficient to outweigh my dread of poverty. But I am determined to tell Marianne everything. And then it'll be a few hours before I can speak with her. My aunt's discovery of a previous affair forced me to abandon what was left of my convictions.
Yes, and how you plan to explain away any part of your guilt in that dreadful business with Colonel Brandon's ward, I do not know.
Yes, I am quite the libertine, so she must be a saint. Pray, I don't excuse what I have done. I am guilty last, with an insidious past, I have mistreated her, misused and cheated her. But Elinor, if I could do it all again, I would not be the wretch that stands before you now. And like a fool, I let my passion for extravagance eclipse whatever happiness I hoped for. Misery, now she is gone from me forever, and I have just my vanity to blame. It's useless, it's senseless, I can't bear to say her name. I've lost the right, I've lost her life, but Elinor, it is my last remaining hope that you will tell your sister all I tell you now. Forcefully explain the misery I'm feeling, how until we met I didn't know what love was. Finally, I have the affluence I wanted, lost whatever happiness it needs. My fortune is worthless if I am not who she needs. Marianne, Marianne.
Very good. Is there anything else?
Is not my present humiliation enough?
No, but it will do for now.
The pulse is slightly better considering the severity of the danger.
Is it not a temporary revival?
Her fever's been reduced. I hope that she has turned a corner.
Nay, I tell myself not to hope, but hope has already entered.
I believe that the worst is over and you will soon see signs of progress.
Miss Ashwood, Mrs. Jennings and Middleton, they have arrived and follow close behind.
Thank you, Colonel. Marianne will be most grateful to see her friends again.
Yes,
I believe reading poetry revived her spirits.
I'm not sure she heard me.
I am certain she did.
Pray tell me, how is she? I fear the worst, but do not conceal anything. We must all be brave during this most dire of times.
I am relieved to tell you that she is improved.
I knew it! She's as strong as an ox, that one. It'll take more than a broken heart to put her in the grave, I can tell you that.
She is a fine young woman. She did not deserve such an offense, even from the boldest rider in England.
Cannot believe I even let him in. Willoughby has suffered greatly. I'm no doubt of it. But my happiness was never his object, and I have nothing to regret but my own folly. Do you compare your conduct with his? No, I compare it with what it ought to have been. Compare it with yours. Our situations have borne little resemblance. My illness has freed me, Elinor. Whenever I look towards the past, I see some duty neglected or some feeling indulged. There's the unceasing kindness of Mrs. Jennings that I repaid with deceit, to cousin Middleton and the Palmers and even Lucy Steele. I was insolent and unjust. And poor Brandon, always there, reading poetry to me by my bedside when I could barely tell if it were day or night. My happiness, always his object. But you above all, dear sister, have been wronged by my selfish behavior. Your example stands before me.
unhappy news.
What is it? You look grave.
Nothing serious, I hope, Mrs. Jennings.
Oh, indeed it is. My servant Thomas has informed me that Mr. Ferrers and Miss Lucy Steele have been married.
So soon. A bit sooner than we expected. Mr. Ferrers has not yet received his orders.
Are you absolutely sure this is true?
I'm afraid it is. Thomas encountered Miss Steele in town, and she was all too happy to give him the news of her marriage to Mr. Ferrers.
I see. Dear sister, engage your feelings. I will comfort you as you have comforted me. Cry, scream, curse their names. I will wait.
No. No, this is all very well. It's just that I wish him all imaginable happiness.
But you have just lost the love of your life.
I wish him only joy and celebration.
That is your will, dear sister.
And I don't know how well she'll serve him. I pray that she'll deserve him. And I'll stow away all my feelings. Stow away all that's underneath this hollow ground. I fall, but I don't make a sound.
Colonel, I was hoping I would find you here.
What a sight to behold.
Colonel,
The foxgloves.
oh yes, they are beautiful.
They're biennial. They bloom every 2 years. That's what makes them so rare.
Well then, I shall have more appreciation for them, as indeed I do other things. Colonel, I have not properly thanked you for your kindness to me during my illness, and, well, for always since I've known you.
No thanks, Miss Dashwood.
I'm afraid they are. You have been nothing but kind and generous to me, and I have been rather aloof and disagreeable for reasons of which we are both aware.
Yes, well. And now?
And now, I would like to make amends. If there is still time.
Miss Dashwood. Miss Marianne. No doubt you have been aware of my affection for you.
Ah, hello.
Mr. Ferrers, what an untimely surprise.
Edward, you are the last person I expected to see.
Mr. Ferrers?
Miss Dashwood. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you enjoying the weather?
It is rather pleasant and not too hot.
No, not too hot, then rather charming.
Yes, it is.
Yes, indeed.
Indeed. Tea?
No, no, thank you.
I hope Mrs. Ferrers is well.
Oh, yes, she is.
Is she in Longstaple?
No, my mother is in town.
Oh, I did not mean to inquire after your mother. I meant to ask after Mrs. Edward Ferrers.
Oh, perhaps you've not heard. I think you mean Mrs. Robert Ferrers. Lucy and my brother, Robert, were married last week. times attempting to prevent my marriage to her. Luckily for all concerned, not the least of which is myself, Lucy and my brother soon formed an attachment to each other, and less so with me.
You are not married? Lucy married your brother?
Well, that was a day.
Quiet.
I don't suppose anything more could happen in a single day.
No, highly unlikely.
The chances of something of the same nature occurring twice in the same...
The odds are not favorable.
I would not place a wager on it.
Nor would I.
Very good.
Of course, it is not inconceivable.
No,
And
it's not impossible.
perhaps made all the more likely by two parties being connected in some way.
Yes, I see what you mean. If, say, sisters were involved,
A very good point, Colonel.
then perhaps something wonderful and miraculous could happen twice on a given day. And if I may be so bold, in my eyes your sight to behold, oh my sweet Marianne, could you look on a man on the wrong side of 35?
Keep that good, Colonel, in spite of how terribly ancient you are.
How long it's been since a day I felt awake and alive in this way. What a wondrous surprise to look deep in your eyes, and to know we are bound. Love so profound as our senses revive from the good sense of 5 and 13.
In a moment, there's a sudden burst where I finally see what I missed at first.
Mm.